Hello and welcome, David here from CapOX Productions. Today we're going to be looking at the fingerstyle tutorial for This Is Home by Cavetown. This piece ranks around 5.5 stars out of 8, which means that it's roughly in the intermediate area of difficulty. If you do find yourself struggling a bit with this tutorial, I really want to encourage you to check out my Fingerstyle fast track module. You can see it over here. That's available on Patreon. It includes songs that are specifically designed to take you from absolute beginner all the way to intermediate level and covers everything in between. All right, let's jump into it. Okay, in this part of the tutorial, I'm going to go through bar by bar and explain more or less what the left and right hands are doing. What I'm not going to do is explain exactly where each individual finger goes. That's what the tab is for. So if you're still struggling a little bit to read the tab, again, check out my Fingerstyle fast track module, and that'll give you all the information you need to get a handle on this stuff. Okay, so from bar 1, you'll notice that a lot of this is kind of chord shape based, starting off with this G major 7 type shape. Then going to a G minor shape, just a bar on the 3rd fret, followed by a D major shape. And that kind of has its own unique strumming pattern. So the strumming pattern is quite important. From bar 1, down, 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 up, and then to the G minor shape, down, 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 up, and then to the D major shape, down, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and then that pattern repeats. And you'll notice there at the end of bar 4, I kind of mute the strings just before going into the verse part. So that's quite a useful thing to do. Up strum, and then I just put my pinky finger across the strings to mute them. You can also just use your right hand and just stop them like this. Either way works. So from bar 5, the melody comes in. We play the bass notes on the 5th fret. And then here, you'll notice I put very specific right hand markings there. So thumb, ring finger, index and middle finger together, open first string with your ring, middle finger again. Now that might seem a little bit tedious, but in the long run, this is definitely the way to practice. Making sure that you're using all of your fingers with your right hand, and that's going to really benefit you in the long run. So that's bar 5. Let's go from bar 6. Here also the left hand is quite important, making sure that you play the 2nd fret with your 1st finger, so that you're in position for the next shape. That one over there. That's quite an important one. Changing to the second fret with your first finger, and then a grace note over here, pulling off straight onto the open string. That's quite a fun one to practice. And then from bar 7, we have this shape over here. It's a G major shape, but again, because of the drop D, it's a little bit weird looking. That part over there is something that requires a lot of slow practice. So from bar 7 onwards, I'll go through again a little bit slower this time. And then here we have kind of like a half diminished chord, very pretty. And then into this D major arpeggio. And then harmonic, you have to jump real quick. Nice little thing to remember, the 7th fret in this position is right before the 12th fret. That's where the harmonic is. That's how I remember it, because I kept stuffing this part up when I was playing it. So a good thing to remember is exactly where that is before you jump there. Otherwise you get this sound, or this sound, and not that beautiful bowl sound, which you really want. Okay, then from bar 9, it's more or less the same thing. Except here in bar 10 we have a straight rhythm, not that kind of lilting swung thing that we were doing before. Da 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 da. And then same shape over here, weird G major shape. Half diminished chord. And then we move on to the next section. Okay, let's take it from bar 13. So the more perceptive amongst you will notice that bar 13 and 14 are the same as 15 and 16. And 17 and 18 are very similar. So once you've got 13 and 14 down, you should be all set. It starts off with this B minor shape. And then we ditch the bar to get our first finger on the 2nd frets. And then our left hand kind of pivots around our first finger being down. This is a bit of a tough change. So I would spend a bit of time focusing on getting this change down. And then we go into a D major type shape. At the beginning of bar 14, you'll notice a bit of a grace note, that open, and then the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. This is quite a cool feature, quite typical of classical guitar music, where you split the notes. Instead of playing the open D and the 3rd fret together like this, you split them, and it kind of creates this distinction between the bass parts and the melody. That's one of the little tricks that really separates people who can play the guitar a little bit and people who are kind of intimately familiar with some of these subtleties. And I really think that can make a difference to your guitar playing, getting used to these kind of little tricks. Then 15 and 16, exactly the same. Bar 17 is slightly different. And then from bar 19, we have the B minor shape one last time. Beautiful. G major 7th chord. It doesn't show in the music, but what you're supposed to do at this point is play. So open, open, 2nd fret, hammering onto the 4th fret. For some reason, Guitar Pro wouldn't let me do that, which is annoying. And then the same thing here, open, hammering on to the 2nd fret. Good little left hand exercise to practice. And then the same thing on the 5th string. So the pattern with the left hand is exactly the same. Yeah, but trying to get it nice and snappy, that's I think one of the things that makes that sound quite Cool. Okay, so that's bar 20. 21 is similar shape, like a B minor shape, except we have the percussive part. Now, what I'm doing here, which is a bit of a cheat, is playing these two notes together, barring down with my first finger, then index, middle, playing the 4/4, and then the next two, I'm actually sounding without my right hand. I'm just pulling off. And while I'm pulling off, I'm hitting at the same time. And that way you can hear all of those notes happening at the same time and you still get the percussive effect. And then the same thing here, hammering on while you're hitting. That just saves the messiness of trying to do that, which isn't quite as clean in my opinion. And then again, bar 22, our little hammer-on guy. This again is probably a good thing to practice very slowly. For me, for some reason, it's easier to play it faster, but I don't know. If you're learning it for the first time, slow practice is always good. And then bar 23 is this, and 24 is the same. Slight variation in bar 24. Yeah, just keep your eyes on the music there. It's quite easy to think that it's exactly the same. It's small little difference there in bar 24. So bar 22 is this, and then bar 24 is, I don't know why I changed that slightly, but there must have been a reason. It was a long time ago. Okay, so bar 23 and 24 sound pretty cool. Bar 25 and 26 are also similar. And then bar 27. Oh man, that sounds pretty cool. I have to say, I'm quite proud of this part because a lot of the like the embellishments I actually wrote myself. So I think they sound, I don't know, I would like you guys to actually comment if you think that they suit the music or if it's a little bit out of place. To my ear, I think it sounds nice, but I don't know if it actually is suitable or not. So honest opinions in the comments, go for it. 29 is back to the intro again. And then the last bit is a nice ritardando, which means you're slowing down gradually. Nice, satisfying D major chord to conclude. Yeah, that's pretty much everything you need to know about this tutorial. Sorry that it took me so long to put it out. A lot of people have been requesting it, and I feel like an absolute Philistine for leaving it so long. So yeah, if you find this helpful, like, subscribe, do all those good things, and check me out on Patreon. You can have access to the tabs and a lot of other really cool stuff, the audio, and you'd be supporting me, which would rock my world, metaphorically speaking. Have a great day, and I will see you next time for the next tutorial.